Hello there, this is the Disobedient Space Whale on my very first live stream. Today is Boxing Day in the UK and Canada. It's a special day where you get to unbox things, and that is what we're going to do. We're going to unbox this Weta Workshop burglar contract of Bilbo Baggins. It's not a full-size version. It is a miniature replica. I think it's about 1/3 of the size. The document contracting Bilbo Baggins to the company of Thorin Oakenshield was a masterwork of legalese, no less meticulously crafted than the jewellery and toys for which dwarf smiths were famous. Covered in tiny annotations and footnotes, the contract promised Bilbus a generous share of the treasure at Erebor, though much was clawed back in the barely discernible fine print. Pre-signed by Thorin and witnessed by Balin, the impressive paperwork lacked only the Hobbit's mark. Adventure called, but would Bilbo heed the call? So this contract is a 3 and 4 scale miniature prop replica, created for the movie by Daniel Reeve, original calligrapher of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit motion picture trilogies. Measuring approximately 105 by 50 centimetres, is hand stitched and wax sealed. Well, I have some experience in dealing with ancient documents, so we'll see how this holds up. So we're going to open it up now. Yeah, so look, like most people, I really enjoyed Lord of the Rings. The Hobbit, not so much. I didn't watch all of them because I love The Hobbit as a book. Read it numerous times. Thank you for the like, whoever's just given me a like, appreciate that. Yeah, so I've read The Hobbit. It was read to us at school by our teacher, Mr. Cook. He was a big fan of it. And when they said they were going to make it into movies, like The Lord of the Rings, you know, it's very exciting, but at the same time, it was like, how on earth does anybody make a film, 3 films out of a small book that's essentially written for children? Hi Gamer Rashid, thank you for joining us. Hello Risky Ilhai Basuri. Hello Bang to you as well. So there we are. Looks quite nice. Very nice, quite nice. It says they're made by artists of film, which I thought, what on earth does that mean? Gamer Rashid, it is a replica from the Hobbit film. It's the contract of Bilbo Baggins. So, very nice. Okey-dokey. It's tied in a nice bow. Let's open it up. Yep, it is pretty cool. In my real life, I do deal with quite old documents, so we'll see how this matches up. I'll see how much of it I can actually read. So the paper is, it's made to look like probably vellum or parchment. It's thick paper. Oh my word. I think if I read all this out, it's going to take all evening. It's got stitching there. I have seen that in old documents where they have stitched additional pieces onto it. It's very long. There's a little wax seal there. Okay, let's start reading it if we can. Oh my word. Conditions of engagement. Enroll as burglar for Thorin and something. As any old role they see fit. Their sole discretion from time to time. Agreed hereto freely, and under neither duress, nor force, nor coercion, nor extortion, nor threat to life and or limb, and superseding any prior contract, agreement, and undertaking. Yes, this can take quite a while to read this. Survivable clauses notwithstanding, signed and witnessed below as set forth hereunder, and as appended to from time to time, the said discretion of the directing with new material being... Unfortunately, my eyesight's not what it was, so it's very small, that handwriting. 1. The undersigned, referred to hereinafter as burglar, agree to travel to the Lonely Mountain, path to be determined by Thorin Oakenshield, who has a right to alter the course of the journey at his so choosing without prior notification and or liability for accident or injury incurred. I'm not playing any games at the moment. No, I've only got a PS4. The aforementioned journey and subsequent extraction from the Lonely Mountain of any and all goods, valuables, and chattels, which activities are described collectively herein as the adventure, shall proceed in a timely manner, and with all due care and consideration as seen fit by said Thorin Oakenshield and companions, numbering 13 more or less, to wit, the company. No recompense for loss of income due to any extended absence applies burglars at the service of Thorin and company until release thereafter. Accidental or with mishap, reconstitution, anyway. Burglar holds harmless and without blame in perpetuity the company and its successors for any notoriety, incarceration, or problems brought against in regard to or a result of the adventure of or activities related thereto. Nobody gifted me this. I bought it for myself. I bought it from eBay. Cash on delivery up to and not exceeding 1/14 of the total profit of any. So he's getting 1/14 of the total profit, not excluding any of the gross paid to other parties in lieu of royalties or help and provisions given or loaned. See also attached clause regarding early termination. All travelling expenses guaranteed in any event shall include a condition. Something I can't read that. But refer to attached and appendices, conditions clauses, and riders regarding any return journey. Funeral expenses to be defrayed by us or our representatives if occasion arises and the matter is not otherwise arranged for. Burglar shall devise means and methods to circumvent any difficulties arising from any illegal or illicit occupation or guardianship of company's rightful home and property. Successful disposal of any such guardian, creature, or squatter in said home shall not necessarily earn any additional monetary or fiscal reward, but will definitely guarantee burglar, if he survives, and burglar's family, the undying gratitude and promise of service in perpetuity and forever of the company and its successors. A plaque shall be erected and dedicated in burglar's honour if he meets an untimely end in attempting this feat. Can't read that bit. I need a magnifying glass, so I wonder how Bilbo managed to actually read this. Okay, bye-bye. Burglar hereby accepts, warrants, and undertakes responsibility for his own shoes, if worn by same, clothing and personal effects for the duration of the adventure. Any items borrowed intentionally or not by burglar during the adventure shall be retained upon journey's completion in conditions similar to those when borrowed, or appropriate recompense made to the company or its successors. Meals provided or not at the sole discretion of the director with due regard for availability, season, or any special dietary requirements not disclosed at the outset. Can't read that. Companies prepared to sample burglars' wines, all ales, beers, and meads, in short, any beverages of a non-perishable nature, and if found acceptable, to transport same beverages at company's own expense. So it's saying that it's going to drink his drinks. Okay. And for company's own consumption. Right. On to the next bit. The principals agreeing to this contract, namely the company, represented by Thorin Oakenshield, and the burglar, are known collectively henceforth as the parties, shall signify their agreement to all clauses contained herein, the conditions of engagement, by signing or making their marks in the spaces provided for so doing, and affixing seals if applicable. The witnesses to this contract being those others whose signature marks or seals are affixed hereto, affirm, state, and declare their understanding and unbiased agreement to all that is contained therein. Conditions subsequently appended or added to this contract are automatically signed to be agreed upon as if they were present, read and understood at the signing of the witnessing thereon. So they can basically add anything to this contract as if he's there already, which doesn't seem entirely fair. Okay, confidentiality is of utmost importance and must be strictly maintained at all times. During the course of his employment with the company, the burglar will hear, see, learn, apprehend, comprehend, and in short, gain knowledge of particular facts, ideas, plans, strategies, theories, geography, cartography, iconography, means, tactics, and or policies, whether actual, tangible, conceptual, historical, or fanciful. Burglar undertakes and agrees to maintain this knowledge in utmost secrecy and confidentiality, and to neither divulge nor make known said knowledge by any means, including but not limited to speech, writing, demonstration, reenactment, mime, or storage and retrieval. Sounds like something from a computer. Within means or apparatus currently known or unknown or as yet unthought of. Company may nullify or change this agreement from time to time at its sole discretion, with or without notice to burglar. There's a little hole there. Okay, so we're getting through it. Early termination of this contract shall attract an early termination fee to be determined by Thorin and Company at their sole and absolute discretion. All clauses contained therein shall survive such termination and remain enforceable in all countries, whether existent now or in the future, throughout the known world. So, any future country. Each of the parties severally represents warrants and covenants that type of blah blah blah. I can't read the very small stuff without a magnifying glass. And probably neither could Bilbo Baggins. Right. Okay. Disputes arising between the contract parties shall be heard and judged by an arbitrator of the company's choosing, and all pleas shall be pleaded, shrewd, defended, answered, debated, and judged in the dwarvish tongue, so not the Hobbit tongue. In the event of a dispute arising in relation to the terms of this agreement, the non-prevailing party shall reimburse the prevailing party for all reasonable fees and costs resulting therefrom. If any provision of this contract is held unenforceable, then such provision shall be modified to reflect the parties' intention. All remaining provisions of this contract shall remain in full force and effect. The failure by one party to require performance of any provision herein shall not affect that party's right to require performance at any time, therefore nor shall a waiver of any breach or default of this contract constitute a waiver of any subsequent breach or default or a waiver of the provision itself. And we've got some more stitching here, and we've got an additional flap added on here. So here we go. Each of the parties severally represents, warrants, and covenants that the party possesses the ability and right to enter into this agreement and fulfil the obligations set forth therein, and has not made any commitment with respect to the matters he discussed that are in conflict with this agreement. This agreement does not obligate the company to seek out or retain the services of the burglar for future undertakings. The company makes no promises nor representations whatsoever as to the amount of business the burglar can expect at any time in the future under this agreement. The burglar acknowledges that monetary damages alone will be adequate compensation for a breach of this contract by the company. Burglar waives any and all rights to recover any consequential, incidental, and or punitive damages. Remedies shall not be sought, nor given, nor paid for any unlooked-for misfortune befalling burglar's dwelling during his absence. So, if his hobbit hole gets destroyed or robbed or attacked by wraiths or dragons or goblins or something, Bilbo's not going to be helped by the dwarves. If any part of this contract is found to be invalid, the remainder of the contract will continue in full force and effect as if the defective and invalid provision or clause or condition has been deleted. That the parties to this contract are entitled to negotiate a valid and enforceable provision in replacement of the invalid provision. Burglar is, in all respects, an independent contractor and not an employee, partner, or joint venture or subsidiary of the company, and is not entitled to pledge the credit of the company. The burglar agrees that at no stage, during or subsequent to the termination of this agreement, will the burglar claim he is or was an employee of the company. So basically, Bilbo's like an Uber driver or a gig economy type person, 0 hours contract, gig economy, Uber burglar. He's an Uber burglar. The company may terminate this contract for any reason or for no reason by giving 1 day's notice to the burglar. Such termination will take effect upon the expiry of the notice period. The company reserves the right to summarily terminate its contract immediately upon notice or without notice any time for any serious breach of the provisions contained herein by the burglar. So he gets 1 day's notice if they want to get rid of him. That's rubbish. Burglar may not modify or change his contract in any way except by a writing signed and agreed by both parties here too. But they can do it to him. The compensation received by the burglar from the company in connection with tasks performed pursuant to his agreement with the burglar's sole claim and interest regarding the inventory and services performed hereunder, and burglar will not be entitled to any royalty or the compensation for any reason. Right, so there's a bit there. This agreement constitutes the entire agreement between the parties and replaces and supersedes all prior understandings and agreements, whether written or oral, with respect to the subject matter described and set forth herein. Except as is set forth in the key provisions, burglar will not cause, authorize, license, permit, or allow any distribution of the recovered goods in any form whatsoever without the company's written permission, which may be granted or not at the company's sole discretion. Right, so that's that flap done. So we're back onto the main part of the contract. All conditions imposed herein are deemed to survive loss or destruction of this document, whether by accidental or willful mishap, fair means or foul, and any reconstruction, rewording, updating, or improvement or additions made shall include a condition similar to this condition, notwithstanding any repetition, redundancy, overstatement, or implication hereby recognised or disclosed. So we've got a couple of little wax seals that don't They're just blobs, they don't have any detail on them. Any and all damages brought against the company by third parties, whether during the course of the adventure or subsequent to it, shall be borne by the company and the burglar on a pro rata basis, but the reverse situation does not apply. Okay, so poor old Bilbo has to go on pro rata for any damages, but they don't have to if it comes on him. Anyway, no recompense for loss of income due to an extended absence shall apply. A burglar is deemed to be at the service of Thorin and company until released therefrom. It is assumed the burglar already possesses and carries upon his person at all times an assortment of skeleton keys, wedges, pry bros, looks like pry bros, masks, disguises, other tools of the trade, and obtain some or remedy any deficiency by burglarious means and endeavours. Burglarious means, that's quite a good word. Made it word. Wherefore and for which the company promises the whole amount to give and to pay burglar or the burglar's accredited messenger 1/14 of the total profits, if something correct weight, and if for the gold quality and correct and proper measure within 1 year of the completion of the adventure. If, however, company does not make good on payment herein set forth, company becomes liable for the whole amount to give to burglar, making the stipulation the penalty of the double of the said amount, conditions remaining settled. Furthermore, company pledges to burglar as security for the aforesaid promises all its goods existing and future. The above is binding with the exception and special reservation that if the amount of goods, property and merchandise said hereby is thus transported by third party or indeed by parties of any other denomination or enumeration whose safety cannot be guaranteed in any case, and furthermore the said goods, property and merchandise to arrive at the destination nominated by the burglar, then and in such case the present assignment is cancelled, void and of no value. Let the present instrument also be cancelled if the said burglar retains from asking or exacting payments of his aforesaid amounts of money, goods, property, or and it's getting a bit too small for me to read now. Actually, that helps. Burglar expressly and forever waives. Blah blah blah. Reject. Now I'm gonna have to go back to the main bit. The small bit's a bit. It's hurting my eyes, and it's late. It's very late. It's late. It's like nearly 1 AM here. Boxing Day. Right, where are we? Weaponry. Oh, this is exciting. Weaponry. It's not provided. They've underlined not provided. Although the adventure is by its nature a stealthy undertaking, combat or self-defense is not unforeseeable, and indeed may become necessary, well-advised, important, imperative, or as inescapable. Accordingly, burglar should arm himself as best befits his stature, ability, ferocity, bravery, timidity, conviction, and determination. So he'll have to make sure he brings a sword with him, his sting. Personal something, shields, braces, helmets, and the like are similarly a burglar's own responsibility and shall be furnished by the burglar, said burglar. Return journey is deemed outside the terms of reference encompassed herein, and accordingly burglar shall return to his place of residence by his own means, guidance, expertise, and expense, but with such directions, advice, and goodwill as can be offered by the company. Expenses and necessities from return journey shall be sourced found paid for by the burglar, provision of transport for burglar and for parties of burglar's goods to be negotiated separately and are in no way something or included or implied herein. Transport provided in the form of one pony to be returned in good condition at the conclusion of the adventure or monies paid in lieu thereof. Portage provided for 1 or 2 medium-sized bags, additional luggage, postage fees at current rates. Adventure undertaken entirely at burglar's own risk. Present company shall not be liable for injuries inflicted by or sustained as a consequence thereof, including but not limited to lacerations, evisceration, or incineration. Signed, Thorin, son of Thrain. Witnessed, Balin, son of... Oh, I'm terribly sorry, I don't know that word. Burglar costs, Bilbo Baggins. And there's lots of little bits here. Postage rates for excess baggage or any baggages to be calculated by weight, whichever is the most expensive. So I think that's it. It's obviously a contract that is very not very what's the word? Fair. Maybe not fair. It's not a very good contract for Bilbo, is it? But it's I don't know. The language used seems kind of weirdly modern. It doesn't seem like. I suppose they didn't want to go for sort of like some sort of COD medieval. They didn't want to go for some sort of COD medieval language, but it sounds a bit modern legalese, storage, things like that. Storage and retrieval. It doesn't sound very dwarfy to me, or how I imagine dwarfy might be. It hasn't got any runes on it, which I thought it'd have more runic. Maybe it wasn't drawn up by the dwarves. I can't quite remember in the story behind it. Maybe Gandalf drew it up for the dwarves. But as a prop replica, it's quite nice. It has some, as I say, that's real wax seal. I mean, it's just sealing the hairs. It hasn't got any kind of imprint on it. A couple little holes. It does look like vellum. That's quite impressed by that, or parchment. But overall, it's a nice little prop replica. You can just about read it, even though it's not full size. You probably need a magnifying glass to get the smaller bits, and I'm not going to go through those because I'm getting tired. Okay, that was my very first live stream. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. If you like the content, smash that like button. If you didn't like the content, smash that dislike button. And thank you very much for watching. And enjoy Boxing Day if you celebrate Boxing Day. If you don't know what Boxing Day is, don't worry about it. And once again, don't have nightmares. Do sleep well. Bye for now. Bye.